in pure love. Okay. So, as we already discussed in the first or second chapter, first or second session of this Nectar of Devotion, that second to first and introduction, then it talks about Samanya Bhakti, means general description of devotional service. Then second to 16th chapter talks about sadhana bhakti. So that includes uh, Vedic sadhana bhakti. Then so there are two sadhana bhakti, Vedic sadhana bhakti and Raganuga sadhana bhakti. So the chapter number 17 and 18 talks about uh, bhakti. Okay, so there we also discuss about Ragatmika bhakti. So Ragatmika sometimes there may be break in the network because from morning onwards I'm getting poor network here. So we are going to discuss about today Prema Bhakti. So when one's desire is Prema Bhakti, when one's desire to love Krishna in one's particular relationship become intensified. Which are those relationships? Now you should remember all these things. Sakhya Ras, Madhurya Ras, Vatsalya Ras or Dasya Ras. There can be love in even Dasya Ras also, servitorship. Sometimes, master act as your friend or maybe, in friendship there is always love. So Lord Ramji has intense love for Hanuman. Although Hanumanji has served Ramchandra in Dasyaras. Okay. So when one's particular desire to love Krishna in one's particular relationship, so this relationship means this kind of rasa becomes intensified. So this is known as pure love of Godhead. So in bhava, like you are shedding the ecstasy, tears, and all those things you come. But uh, in that state, you have developed attachment and ecstasy. But here, that ecstasy and attachment has been intensified in pure love. So in the beginning, a devotee is engaged in the regulative principle of devotional service by the order of his spiritual master. So sadhana bhakti, what is sadhana bhakti? In sadhana bhakti, the impetus is guru. In raganuga bhakti, impetus is attachment for the Krishna. So when thereby becomes complete, when thereby when one thereby becomes completely purified of all material contamination, that develops an attachment and taste for devotional service. So when someone keep practicing sadhana bhakti, chanting 60 rounds and all, and of course it is said in Updesamrut that Srimad Krishna Nam Charita Disitapi Vidya Vito Patapta Rasayana Rochika Kintu Adra Anudinam na Khalu Sevachishta Sadvi Pramada Bhavati Tadagada Mulahanti. So someone when because of material disease means this bhavarog, material existence. That's what I'm talking. Not that fever and all, not those kind of disease. But if someone is suffering through bhavarog, they may not like to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, or they may not have that attachment. But in this nectar of instruction, the instruction is given that although whether we like or not like, we should continue chanting, and in a due course of time, just like how hmm, uh, boy and girl develop the relationship, थोड़ा सोच आती है, and then they think more about that. So similarly in bhakti also, even before that there is no thought. Before that there is simple attraction. Then we decide, okay, we plan many things, and so same in bhakti also, like you may not have attachment in the beginning, no love, but you have to that is sadhana bhakti. Okay, so and if you perform sadhana bhakti, there will be a stage when you will be completely purified from material contamination, and that develops attachment and taste for devotional service. Okay. So this taste and attachment when gradually intensified. So now you have developed the taste. So there are 9 stages of devotional service. You should try to remember all these things now. Which are there are 9 processes of devotional service. That is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archana Vandanam, Dasam, Sakyamatma Nivedanam. So these are 9 processes. There are 9 stages of devotional service. Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivrutti, Nishta, then ruchi. Ruchi means you like to do that, but if you don't do it, it doesn't matter. You are fine, but you like to do that. Ruchi, then asakti means you have developed attachment. You don't like to be without that. Asakti, bhav, and because of that attachment, we develop bhav also. Bhava means sometimes uh, we met so near and dear one, we shed tears and all. So same way, there are different symptoms of bhava. Then prem. Okay. So this taste and attachment, when gradually intensified in course of time, becomes love. The word love can actually now this is very important. Please listen carefully. This is the problem. People misinterpret this thing. The word love can actually be applied only in relationship with personality of Godhead. Very clear. The word love can actually be applied only in relationship with personality of Godhead. Now we read next sentence. It's very important again. In the material world is not in material world love is not applicable at all. Now there is another third line, next line. It says, what goes on under the name of love in the material world is nothing but lust. Okay, so I'm putting this in the group. Okay, the word love can actually be applied only in relationship with personality of Godhead. In the material world, love is not applicable at all. And what goes on under the name of love in the material world is nothing but lust. Okay, please remember this thing. There is a gulf of difference between love and lust, like a difference between gold and iron. So then Rup Goswami is giving the example from the Shastra. So he says in Narad Pancharatratra, it is said that when lust is completely transferred to the supreme Godhead and concept of kinship is completely reposed in him, such is accepted as a pure love of God by great authorities like Bhishma, Prahlad Maharaj, and Uddhava and Narada. So, of course, whoever is in the material world, they are lusty. Degree is different. Madness means lust. They are crazy. That's what we read in Nectar of Devotion, right? Even Prahlad Maharaj said that Rup Goswami quoted Prahlad Maharaj, that Prahlad Maharaj says that, in the material world, everyone is mad. Degree is different. So that what is that madness? That madness of enjoyment, proprietorship or controllership. Bhokta, Maheswara, uh, Bhokta, Maheswara, and yeah, means enjoyer, controller, and ownership. Yeah, Maheswara means it includes both controller and owner. Okay. So So when they say that I am a bhokta and I am an enjoyer, so that means he's lusty if he consider himself as that way. Okay. So that thought itself that he is an enjoyer and bhokta is a symptoms of madness. Right? Because he is not. actual bhokta, he's not actual controller, he's not actual proprietor, but still he's considering himself as enjoyer, then controller, then whatever, proprietor. So, one devotee of Srila Prabhupada, one disciple of Srila Prabhupada was telling that once upon a time, Jawaharlal Nehru went to Chennai, and when he went to Chennai, so he wanted to visit uh, hospital where mad people are kept. So Jawaharlal Nehru directly went inside and he was staring at Jawaharlal Nehru. And after some time, that mad person came. So like Jawaharlal Nehru started some conversation with him. He asked him, "Who are you? What are all these things?" Then that mad guy asked Jawaharlal Nehru, "Who are you?" So that mad guy said that I'm Jawaharlal Nehru. So what mad guy? Sorry, Jawaharlal Nehru replied that I'm Jawaharlal Nehru. Then mad guy told him, "Don't tell this thing that you are Jawaharlal Nehru. I was also thinking Jawaharlal Nehru. That's why they put me in the jail." So means when someone consider that represent himself as a someone who is not in reality, one who is not in reality, then he will be considered as a mad. Very simple to understand. The same way when we are not proprietor, when we are not enjoyer, when we are not controller, and we pose ourselves as a controller, enjoyer, proprietor, and everything, then what will we consider mad? Very simple. Okay, so enjoyer means lusty. Very simple. So as per this Narat Pancharatra, when lust is completely transferred to the Supreme Godhead, okay, and the concept of kinship is completely reposed in him. Kinship means he is only our real relative or well-wisher, whatever. Such is accepted as pure love of God by great authorities like Bhishma, Prahlad, Uddhava, and Narada. For others, we have to see they belongs to Krishna, and Krishna has given us to take care of them. That is different point. Okay. That is also in higher understanding, not in our not by our mental speculation that we make that okay, we have to do it under the guidance of authority, spiritual master and his representative, whatever. Not that whimsically we do. No. So great authorities like Bhishma have explained that love of God it means completely giving up so-called love for any other person. Love of Godhead means completely giving up all so-called love for any other person. According to Bhishma, love means reposing one's affection completely upon one person. So even of course, okay. So completely reposing affection upon one person, withdrawing all affinity for any other person. This pure love can be transferred to the Supreme Personality of Godhead under two conditions. So what does it mean? हमारे सारे रिलेटिव उसको क्या गाली गलौज तो नहीं. It doesn't. It's not that. It is not said here that. Of course, we should love them considering Krishna has given us to take care of them. Okay, of course, especially those who are coming in blood relationship and some legal relationship, not illegal. Legal relationship, not illegal. Okay, so this pure love can be transferred to the Supreme Personality of Godhead under two conditions: out of ecstasy and out of costless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So let's see one by one. So now ecstasy. So the pure love can be transferred to Supreme Personality of Godhead under two conditions. So one is ecstasy. So let's go through ecstasy. So ecstatic love of Godhead can be potently invoked simply by following the rules and regulation of devotional service as they are prescribed in the scripture. So this ecstasy can be aroused by uh, gradual practice of sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti means follow, Sadhana Bhakti means devotional service practice under rules and regulation under the direction of bona fide spiritual master. Okay. So it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam that this ecstatic love born of education of regulative devotional service. A devotee in the course of executing regulative principle of devotional service develop his natural Krishna consciousness and thus being soft and being thus softened at heart, he chants and dances like a madman. Like madman. He is not mad. So seems like that, but he is not. So what happened that if you gradually practice devotional service uh, under rules and regulation, then what will happen? We gradually develop natural Krishna consciousness and we chant and dance like a madman. And while performing chanting of the holy name of Lord, he sometimes cries, sometimes talks widely, and sometimes sings, sometimes without caring for outsider dance like a madman. Like a madman, but he's not madman. Okay. Then there are some example, another scripture that so there is a statement about ecstatic love born of spontaneous affection. There was one girl, Chandra Kanti, a celebrated fair-faced girl, rigidly observed celibacy in order to obtain Krishna as her husband. And she always engaged herself in meditating on the transcendental forms of the Lord and always chanted the glories of Lord. She did not desire to accept anyone else as her husband. She had firmly decided that only Krishna would be her husband. So this is ecstasy. That gradually practicing rules and regulation, we can come to that stage. And when this ecstasy is intensified, then what will happen? So then it will be come under ecstasy comes under bhav bhakti. But then when it is intensified, then it will be considered as a pure love of God, prem bhakti. Now another way of getting, so one way of getting this pure love of Godhead is by ecstasy, and another is by Lord's extraordinary mercy. So let's go through that. So when devotee is found to be always associated with the Lord in ecstatic love, when devotee is found to be always associated with the Lord in ecstatic love, it is to be understood that such a position has been awarded by Lord Himself out of His causeless extraordinary mercy. So of course, Damodar month is going on. What is the significance of Damodar Lila? So sorry, two finger of Damodar Lila. That two finger rope is shortened. What is the significance? One is that we should endeavor. Endeavor means we should practice a devotional service in rules and regulation under the guidance of the spiritual master. And other is Krishna's mercy. So if we sincerely practice devotional service with rules and regulation under the guidance of spiritual master, and if we receive the mercy, causeless mercy of Krishna, then we achieve the pure devotional service, right? So without Krishna's mercy, nothing will happen. Even in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 13th verse, it is said that there are five things responsible for getting a success in your activity. What is that? One is your body, second is your senses, third is soul, uh, fourth is what was the fourth one? I think work itself, and fifth is super soul. So Krishna's mercy is required even for material work, then why not for devotional service? So what is that example of such a extraordinary mercy? So that is given in 11th canto. So Lord Krishna tells Uddhava that the gopis in Vrindavan did not study the Vedas to achieve me, nor had they ever been to holy places of pilgrimage. They were not at the holy places of pilgrimage. Nor did they devotedly execute any regulative principle nor did they undergo any kind of austerity. It is simply by my association that they have attained the highest perfection of devotional service. So if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, uh, I think that I don't know which chapter, 32nd or where. So, there were in the gopis also there they were Nitya Siddha, but there are some gopis who have taken a birth from the, but they were not Nitya Siddha. They were not Nitya Siddha. But being associating with the gopis and constantly seeing Krishna, they developed attraction for Krishna, and that attraction was intensified. Okay, so they also become Nitya Siddha. So that sentence is given in Krishna book. I am not able to remember which chapter exactly, but this is mentioned. So although there were some gopis, they were not, and some gopis were just attracted towards Krishna out of lust, but still they have been purified and they develop pure love of God. And Kubja is one example. Of course, he was not the gopi, but okay, so it's simply by association that they have attained my Krishna's association that they have attained the highest perfection of devotional service. So then again they gave the example of Chandrakanti from Padma Puran there. And Srimad Bhagavatam, the example of gopis, that it appears the devotee who always think of Krishna and who always chant his glories in ecstatic love, regardless of his condition, will attain the highest perfection of unalloyed devotional love due to Lord Krishna's extraordinary mercy. Repeating again, it appears the devotee who always think of Krishna and who always chant his glories in ecstatic love, regardless of his condition, will attain the highest perfection of unalloyed devotional love due to Lord Krishna's extraordinary mercy. This is confirmed in Bhagavatam that if person worship, adores, loves Hari, the Supreme Lord, he should be understood to have finished all kind of austerity, penance, and similar process for self-realization. So just if we are worshipping Krishna, then we have understood that we have done all kind of austerity, penance, and other things for self-realization. Then he says, on the other hand, if after undergoing all types of austerity, penance, and mystic yoga practice, one does not develop such a love for Hari, then all his performance are to be considered a useless waste of time. So what is that? Verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, if anyone could remember, very famous verse. Dharma swanutistasya pumsa vishwakshena tatha suya na utpadyat yadi ratim srame vahi kevalam. So dharma swanutistasya pumsa. What is the purpose of dharma for living entity? Dharma swanutistasya pumsa. That dharma of living entity is to hear and develop the ruchi in the katha of Lord Hari. And if you are not if you are not developing that rati, love, then what is it called? Srame vahi kevalam, useless waste of time. So very famous verse in first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So if someone always see Krishna inside and out, then it is to be understood that he has surpassed all austerity and penance for self-realization. So, and if after executing all kind of penance and austerity, one cannot always see Krishna inside and out, then he has executed his performance uselessly. So if we don't, whatever we do, and if we are missing the Krishna, Krishna is not there, we don't come to the point of Krishna, then it's a useless waste of time. Okay, so the purpose of doing anything in the material world is to bring someone to the point of Krishna, that Krishna is the Bhokta Ram Yajna Bhokta Ram of all Yajna Tapasa is Sarva Loke Maheswara. He is a well-wisher of everyone. Okay. So come to that point, and because of his super soul, our duty is to serve him, to attain the devotional service of Krishna. So even the spontaneous attraction to Krishna which is said to be due to extraordinary. So this spontaneous attraction, this pure love of Godhead, God and the Lord's extraordinary mercy can also fall in two categories. Okay, can be placed into two headings. One is found in a veneration of profound veneration of God's greatness. Sorry, for the greatness of Lord. So Vrajavas and other is once being automatically attracted to Krishna without any extraneous consideration. Just like Mathuravasi and just like Krishna Loka is divided in three planets. One is Dwarka, one is Mathura, and third is Vrindavan. First is Vrindavan, Mathura, and Dwarka. Krishna is more perfect in Krishna is perfect in Mathura, more perfect in Dwarka, and most perfect in Vrindavan. Why more perfect in Dwarka? Because he was followed. Has still he has Madhurya Rasa there, but has a husband and wife. Okay. So now in Mathura and Dwarka, people are attracted towards the Krishna because they know that Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead. They know his greatness. They know his greatness. They are aware about his Sadeshwarya. He's a Lakshmipati and Eswarasya Samagrasya Viryasya Sriya Iti Sana Bhaga Iti Uchyate. So they know. But people of Vrindavan don't know that Krishna is God. And still they love him as a supreme object of considering him as a supreme object of worship. They are attracted towards him. Okay. So this is called second part. The other is one is automatically attracted towards Krishna without extraneous consideration. And first is they are one is profound veneration for greatness of Lord. So they are aware about greatness of Lord. So Narad Pancharatra, these examples are given that if on the account of profound veneration for greatness of the Supreme Lord, one attains great affection and steady love for him, one is certainly assured of attaining four kind of Vaishnava liberation. So what destination someone get? They are they have developed love for Krishna out of profound veneration of greatness, then achieve the four kind of liberation, except not five. The Sahaja Mukti, we don't aspire at all, becoming merging with the Lord. That has been aspired by the enemies of the Lord or Mayavadi. So Mayavadi are also enemy. So therefore, what is that? Sarupya, Samipya, Salokya, and Srashti. So they achieve this kind of thing as per Narad Pancharatra that if someone is attracted towards Krishna out of attains a great affection and steady love for him out of greatness of Krishna, then he achieves this four liberation, namely achieving the same bodily feature that is called Sarupya, then achieving the same opulence as Lord Krishna, then dwelling on the planet of the Lord Krishna is residing, Salokya, Sarupya, Salokya, Sasti, and Sarupya, Samukya, Salokya, and attaining eternal association with the Lord. So they achieve this kind of liberation. The Vaishnava liberation is completely different from Maya liberation, which is simply a matter of being merged into effulgence of the Lord. Okay. And so Narad Pancharatra, unalloyed devotional service is explained as being without any motive for personal benefit. If devotee is continuously in love with Lord Krishna and his mind is always fixed upon him, the devotional attitude will prove to be only means of attracting attention of the Lord. If our mind is always fixed on Krishna and continuously in love with Lord Krishna, that kind of devotional attitude will prove to be the only means of attracting the attention. So these kind of things will get the attention of Lord Krishna, get the attention of Lord Krishna towards the practitioner. So in other words, a Vaishnava who is incessantly thinking of the form of Lord Krishna is to be known as pure Vaishnava. So what we consider bhakti, ahetuki apratihata. Ahetuki means what is that? Save pumsa paro dharma yatho bhakti radoksaje. What is the highest religion of all the living entities? Save pumsa paro dharma yatho bhakti radoksaje. Devotional service to Krishna. And that devotional service should be ahetuki, without any motivation, apratihata, without interruption. Okay. So that is given even in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So generally, devotee who has achieved the costless mercy of the Lord on account of following the strict rules and regulation of devotional service become attracted by the supreme greatness of the Lord. So those who are following rules and regulation, okay, so they are attracted by the greatness of the Lord. Why they are following rules and regulation? Because they know the greatness of Lord. He is the control of everything. So if you want to please Him, then we have to follow His rules and regulations. By trusting to the Lord and by spontaneous execution of devotional service. Okay, so they are aware about the story of the Lord, basically. So to be more clear, by executing the regulative principle of devotional service, one can fully appreciate the transcendental beauty of the Lord. Aishwarya, Samangrasya, Viryasya. So in any case, such an exalted position are possible only by the extraordinary mercy of the Lord upon devotee. So mercy is required. These are the two headings of pure love of Godhead. Now let's see about what about the association with the pure devotee. Okay, so all the many different process of developing love of Godhead have been explained so far. Srila Rupa Goswami now give us general description how one can best achieve such a highest position, how we can achieve the highest position of love for Krishna. So the beginning of ecstatic love of Godhead is basically faith. It comes by faith on the Adu Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivruti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhavante. Okay. So there are many societies, association of pure devotees. If someone with just little faith begin to associate with such a societies, his advancement to pure devotional service is rapid. So if you associate with this kind of society devotees, then advancement will be rapid. The influence of pure devotee is such that if someone comes in association with him with little faith, one get the chance of hearing about the Lord from the authoritative scripture like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. भक्तों के साथ में आते तो क्या बोलते हैं बार बार बोलते हैं भगवत गीता पढ़ो भागवतम पढ़ो so here in temple there is one Mataji Pariyat Mataji, she was telling me once that uh, I think what is his name? Maharaj from Canada. Bhakti. I forgot his name. He has crossed the Canada, I think 3-4 times by walk, one side to another side. He has just traveled walk Canada from one coast to another coast, east to west. And his name was I forgot his name. Anyway, I'll remember then I'll tell you. So he told that Parajat Mataji that you should keep your son in control. Then she asked how. You should tell him repeatedly whether he listen or not listen, but you should always keep hammering him properly with proper attitude. So then, uh, so Mataji was telling me that she was sharing with me that she told Maharaj that I told him so many times, but nothing happened. So then Maharaj has told her one story that when you break a stone, you hammer the stone. So when you are breaking a stone, you are hammering the stone. What will happen? The crack after some time, keep hammering. One first go, the stone will not be broken. Okay. So then the one person who was hammering the stone, After some time, he saw one crack. His guru has told him to break that stone. So he was hammering, and that person came to Guru and said, "There is stone is not breaking at all." So then Guru told him, "Keep hammering." So hammer, and after some time, crack come. So then disciple came to Guru and he told Guru that crack has come. So then Guru explained it. See, no, now you have hammered so much stone from externally. So now the crack is visible externally. That means that uh, stone is so much transformed inside, and that's why now crack is visible outside. So when the crack is coming outside the stone, that means there are so much break happen inside the stone. So that is the so that so he said that so these are the children we should keep hammering them uh, one way or different way because it's a duty. Otherwise, they will go out of control and all. So this is what here, the influence of pure devotee. So what will they do? They keep hammering. They keep telling Krishna Katha, Krishna Katha. आज ये तो कल असर हो जाएगी पूरा. Okay, so thus by the mercy of the Lord who is situated in everyone's heart, one gradually develop his faith in the description of such an authoritative scripture. So this is the first stage of association with pure devotee. So even Hitler also used to tell that even you lie enough, sorry, if you lie long and loud enough, it will accept it as a truth. So then what to speak about what is reality, right? So when you come in the association of the devotee with little faith, they will always keep telling you about Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. And if you constantly hear and all, then there will be a stage, Varana Dasa, acceptance. You will accept it. After some time, there will be a come up the stage of remembrance. So remembrance has five things: recollection, then remember that absorptions, then constant meditation, then constant remembrance, then uh, smarana avastha. Then finally comes sampati dasa. In nectar of instruction, we discussed this thing if you remember. Okay. So the first stage of association with the pure devotee. Uh, this is the first stage of association of the pure devotee. Uh, uh, they tell us the story from, they give opportunity to hear from Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. In the second stage, after one becomes little advanced and mature, he automatically offers to follow the principle of devotional service under the guidance of pure devotee and accept him as a spiritual master. So पहले तो बताते रहते भागवतम भगवद गीता में, फिर then they are told to follow rules and regulation. In the next stage, under the guidance of spiritual master, the devotee execute regulated devotional service, and as a result of such activity, he becomes free from all unwanted occupations. When he is free from unwanted occupation, his faith becomes steadily fixed, and he develops transcendental taste for devotional service. So after Nishtha comes Ruchi. So you develop the taste. Okay. And then attachment, Ruchi, Asakti, attachment. Then ecstasy, then bhava. Then last stage is there is a pure love of Godhead. These are the different stage of development of pure love. But it begins with Adosraddha, little faith. Okay. So then only the most fortunate person can achieve the success in life. Sir, can achieve such a success in life. Those who are simply academic student of the Vedic scripture cannot appreciate how such a development take place. In Narad Pancharitra, Lord Shiva therefore tells Parvati, "My dear Supreme Goddess, you may know from me that any person who has developed the ecstasy of love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is always merged in the transcendental bliss on account of this love, cannot even perceive the material distress or happiness coming from body and mind." So they go beyond the uh, that Adi Atmik, Adi Bhautik, and Adi Devik Klesa. They don't feel at all. These material pangs will not disturb them. So you see that Prabhupada example, discipline phase coming. on 29th, I think. So although he was last stage and he is translating the Bhagavatam, and that is the 13th chapter of 10th canto, last chapter he translated. And you read those purports that are completely realized purports, so powerful purport of 10th canto, 13th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, and you read those. And that he composed just 4 5 days before his departure, just while lying on the bed. Okay, so they don't feel this material pangs. So, but if our mind is involved in something else, our own sense and gratification and all, so even though there is no disturbance, we feel disturbed. Even though we are not in disturbance, still we feel disturbed. But if those devotees whose mind are completely absorbed on Krishna, even though they are disturbed, they don't feel disturbance. That is the state of consciousness. The affection and the dealings of love that are different branches of the original tree of love preceded many varieties of affection manifestation that will, he says here. Anyway, let it go. So this different have been described by Sanatan Goswami in, I think I missed something. Hmm. So these are other, he is talking, Rup Goswami now is concluding this first part, first vibhag of Bhakti Rasamrut Sindhu, saying that affection and dealing of love that are different branches of original tree of love preceded many varieties of affection and manifestation that will not be discussed here. So these different manifestations have been described by Sanatan Goswami in his Bhagavatamrut. Although the subject of such affection and dealing of love is very confidential, Sanatan Goswami has described them very explicitly. So this was Rupa Goswami conclude the first division of Bhagavatam Sindhu, offering up his treatise for the transcendental pleasure of Sanatan Goswami, who has established the transcendental beauty in Gopal Bhatt Goswami, Srila Raghunath Bhatt, and Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami. So here's in the beginning only that Sanatan Goswami says that, sorry, Rup Goswami said that he's writing this lecture of devotion for the pleasure of Sanatan Goswami. So during this time, G Goswami was not present here in Vrindavan. He came there later. Okay, so thus ends the Bhaktivedanta summary study of first division of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu up to the description of ecstatic love of Godhead, which are to follow next. So that complete. Thank you very much.